we're gonna fire you. We were absolutely going to fire you. Except for the fact that we were ready for this. We were prepared for this because of the articles that Darren Hibbs has been writing. Because we were an engineering firm, one of our jobs was to help our clients understand how much it was going to cost to build things. And one day I had this idea that I would start writing a newsletter to our clients based on the costs of construction materials. Now, if you're falling asleep right now listening to me say that, then yes, it really was that boring. I mean, we're talking about researching the most awful, dull thing imaginable on planet Earth, and then writing about it for clients and trying to make it to where they wouldn't fall asleep. And we had this one client that accounted for about a third of our business, maybe a quarter to a third of our annual revenue stream. And they were doing a really big project. Our company wasn't really paying attention to even the stuff that I was putting out there. The group of people that was working on this particular project thought that they knew that it was going to cost about $80 million. I was telling them I thought it was going to cost about $120 million. The low bid on this contract was $145 million. Needless to say, the company was just in chaos that day. This client was like a third of our revenue. And everyone knew they were going to fire us because we had really messed it up. And so everyone was running around like chickens with their head cut off, updating their resumes. It was bad. The office environment was really bad that day. And I just sat in my cubicle on the ground floor thinking, well, if I get fired, I get fired. But I tried to warn him. It wasn't like I told you so kind of thing, but I didn't know what else I could do at that point. So I just told the Lord, if I get fired, Lord, I hope you'll have a place for me. Well, later that afternoon, I'm sitting in my cubicle and everything's quiet because most of the people I think were out drinking or something, like trying to cope with what the inevitable that they knew was coming, that they were all going to get pink slips. So I'm sitting virtually alone on the first floor in my cubicle and my desk working on some things, and the CEO strolled into my cubicle. Now, he lived on the 5th floor, and I had never seen him anywhere but on the 5th floor or in the elevator to the 5th floor. And anytime I'd ever spoken to the CEO, I went to his office. And that's how it normally works. If you're going to go talk to the CEO, you go see him. He doesn't come see the little peon that works on the ground floor. And so he just kind of strolled into my cubicle and sat down on my desk and just started wanting to shoot the breeze with me. We just talked for like 15 minutes, and I was really confused. I didn't know if he was trying to be nice to me before he gave me my pink slip and told me I was fired, but he never said anything like that. We talked about sports, the weather, fishing, whatever. And then he finally just stood up and said, "Hey, Darren, I just wanted to say thank you. I really appreciate the work you've been doing around here lately." And then he walked out, and that felt kind of ominous, like maybe I really was going to get the pink slip, or I kind of hoped that with everything that was going on, he wasn't going to like jump out of the 5th floor window or something like that. I don't know. It was weird. So I went back to working on whatever I was working on, probably some kind of spreadsheet or something. And like 30 minutes later, the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, walks into my office and sits down on my desk and just starts shooting the breeze, talking about the weather and sports and I don't know, whatever. I was just really weirded out because, again, I had never seen him outside of his office. I'd met with both of them several times in their offices. I didn't even know that they knew that the first floor of our company existed. And here they were both in succession sitting on my desk. And we just shot the breeze for another 15 minutes. And I thought, what is going on here? And finally, he started to stand up to walk out of my cubicle, and he stopped and he said, Darren, he's like, did you hear about the bid today? And I said, yeah, everyone heard about the bid today. And he said, yeah. He said, well, I just want to let you know that the CEO and I, we went over there this morning on our hands and knees to beg for our lives. And when we got over there, they were really angry. They were really angry about the bid and the bond and everything. And he said, they told us, we're going to fire you. We were absolutely going to fire you. Except for the fact that we were ready for this. We were prepared for this because of the articles that Darren Hibbs has been writing. Because of that, we're not going to fire you. And when he told me that, I thought, oh my gosh. I started working the numbers. I mean, that was like my little articles right there in year one. That's like $33 million of revenue. And they had been a client for decades and potentially would be clients for decades to come. So I started running the numbers thinking, wow, those little articles, I had no idea they were going to have such an impact. Sometimes you're doing something at work and you just wonder, does this really matter? Even the small things. You know, Paul tells us, don't work like you're working for man. Work like you're working for God. Because in reality, that's really how it is. And sometimes people struggle with the little tasks or the menial things that they're doing. Now, I don't know if the Lord's going to give you an opportunity for some little thing to turn into this giant mega hundred of millions of dollars save for your company. That kind of thing doesn't just happen every day. But there's things that you're doing right now that they matter to God and they matter to your company. And the Lord actually cares about your company. And so the path that He set you on, the path that He set me on, it matters. It matters to God. It matters to the people around us. And it really matters to you and I. Sometimes the little things that you're doing, when the Lord sets you on a path to do something, sometimes those little things, they turn out to be big things. Keep doing what you're doing. Be faithful at it. Ask the Lord to speak to you. Ask the Lord every day to speak to you, not just in church, but in your job, in your family, everywhere you are, because He really cares about every aspect of what you're doing. I've seen it in my life, and I pray you'll see it in yours, because when you start to see the Lord speak and move and act in every sphere of your life, everywhere you go, it will change you, and it will change the people around you in amazing ways. I pray that you'll begin asking every day for the Lord to speak to you. And I know He will. I'll see you next time.